Hey, 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 good morning, how are you? Welcome to the greatest show. You are looking live at my basement. It's not really my basement. It might be my basement. I don't know. Why am I wearing these? I tell you every morning because I got these lights up here, and I think I'll keep them on, at least for this first segment, because I think I'm pretty cool with it. I do. I think I'm pretty cool. What can I tell you? When you think you're pretty cool, then you're pretty cool. Like, I know what I look like. I know my reputation, but it's not what it seems. You get all this. It's wonderful. Hey, I don't know if you saw this last night, but Kevin Porter Jr., he of leaving a game in the middle of the game for the Houston Rockets a few weeks ago. Well, the Houston Rockets stink. Kevin Porter Jr. is an uber-talented guy. Like, he's got real ability. So he's going to be in the NBA until one of two things happens. He's going to be in the NBA until people get tired of him, and then he's not in the NBA anymore. Or he's going to be in the NBA until he matures, and then you read the story about why is Kevin Porter Jr. so good? Well, he matured, and next thing you know, he's in his 20s, late 20s, and now he's a good player because he's got that kind of talent. He's a little like me as a broadcaster. You got all this talent, but you keep getting in issues, and people eventually get tired of you, and that's okay too. But anyway, so Kevin Porter Jr. starts yapping at Steph Curry. Now look, there's a lot of people to yap at in basketball. I love talking. I mean, I was a bad player. I'd talk trash today, tomorrow. Last time I played about 6 years ago, my own son told me, "Dad, will you just shut up?" No. So I respect it. I love it. I encourage it. But I don't encourage it against an NBA great that can make you look like a jackass. So what did Steph Curry do? All Steph Curry did was pump in 21, many right in the eye of Kevin Porter Jr., scored 40 on the night, and it was 122 to 108. That was the game. It was going to be that anyway. Probably didn't matter. The Houston Rockets are terrible, awful. The Fighting Steph Currys, if you're going to say to me who's a favorite in the West, they'd probably be along with the Suns. I would take them. But don't talk trash unless you're willing to just catch it in the eye, right in the eye hole. Be careful. Know who you're dealing with. You understand? Like I tell my kid, my son, look, it doesn't matter what a guy looks like anymore. Never, ever get in a bar fight because you don't know who you're dealing with. Everybody now is doing MMA, boxing. Everyone now is into it. Everyone now, I assume, can put you in some kind of flip, twist, over the top. Used to be you saw some fat-ass guy in a bar and he started mouthing off, you just knock him out. You can't do that anymore. Or in my case, you get hit in the back. I don't know if you can see the scars. You get hit in the back with a beer bottle. Or in my wife's case, you break a beer bottle over a guy's head because a bunch of guys jumped her brother. You can't do that anymore because you don't know who you're dealing with. I wrestled one time against a guy who was really smaller than me, but he was a wrestler. I thought I was, oh my God, he had me in some kind of hold I don't think I'm still out of. So, know who you're dealing with. And when you don't know who you're dealing with, shut up. Kevin Porter Jr. had to know who he was dealing with. Steph Curry said, here you go. Whap, 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 whap. And then talked about how much fun it was to get into an extra gear. I don't like it. I love it. I want some more of it. All right. The Celtics and the Heat. A few years ago on a broadcast during the Summer League, I said that Spoelstra is, a top 10 coach, maybe not a top 10 coach. He's proven me wrong. He's been a very good coach. He's done a very good job. But last night, as oft times happens, was not his night. Eric Spoelstra, the head coach of the Heat, the one that LeBron James wanted to get fired, and Pat Riley said, shut up. Got their brains beat out. Now, I want to give you some reason I'm bringing this up because you never see this. It's a 30-point win by the Celtics over the Heat, 122-92. It's a 30-point win. So I just was looking at that this morning. Listen to these numbers by the starting lineup of the Celtics, the plus-minus numbers. Plus-minus means when I'm on the court, is my team winning or is my team losing? If we win by 5 in a segment, I'm plus 5. So Jason Tatum, plus 30. Horford, plus 24. Robert Williams, plus 26. Marcus Smart, plus 25 and plus 28 for Jaylen Brown. The bench was more solid. It was fine, not great. But on the other side, minus 26, minus 20, minus 24, minus 27, minus 26. There wasn't anybody on the Heat that had any impact at all. Like, it's a game January 30th. Who cares, right? Other than the people involved in the game. But I just thought it was funny that the discrepancy was so big. Holy cow. Anyway, the NBA moves on. This starting team beat that starting team. This starting team was the Celtics. That starting team was the Heat. And now they go play again, and it's no big deal. But I just thought that to be fascinating. I just got a text before the show, a friend of mine. His name is Scott Johnson. Scott Johnson is the best director at ESPN, and he's a dear friend. Scott Johnson directed last night's game between Duke and Notre Dame. Scott Johnson sent me a text, hey, I'm passing through Indy. I'm not going to be able to stop. It's 60 in Louisville. We're going to play golf. Okay, great. I text him back, what a bad game. His response, awful. The Duke-Notre Dame game last night was not great. And when I say not great, let me give you some numbers. It was 27-14 at half. Now, mind you, I know I don't have this reputation, but every time I screw up, I apologize for it every time. And I screw up a lot. I mean, look, I'm on TV or radio 5 hours a day. I'm on Twitter the other 19 hours a day. I'm going to screw up. Apology to my listeners that listened, I think here, but I know on my show in Indy, noon to 3, I apologize because I told you to take the over. To quote my favorite sports quote ever from somebody not named Mike Tyson, Roberto DiVincenzo, when he lost the Masters because he signed an incorrect scorecard. What a stupid I am. I gave you over 142 yesterday. This game could have still been going, and these two teams would not have gotten a 142. Duke shot 3 of 19 from 3 and won by 14. Do you need any more than that? Notre Dame, they didn't quite shoot as bad. They were 3 of 18 from 3. Notre Dame didn't make 30% of its shots. Like, there's a reason, and I don't agree with it, but when you talk to longtime NBA announcers and people, they're like, hey, the college basketball is pretty much the JV. And they're not wrong when you see things like that. Notre Dame couldn't make a bucket. And it's just, I know there's nights like this, but you can't have them on national TV against Duke. You can't. They couldn't make a layup. I mean, it was like in and out. Literally, it was like, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. And I've seen bad basketball. I've played bad basketball. I've coached bad basketball. I know bad basketball. That was horrific. The ball just wouldn't go in for Notre Dame. Like, if I'm Mike Bray today, I'm showing the shots that we missed around the bucket. I'm like, hey, look, everybody go to the grotto and start praying. Because there's something going on around that rim that's just swatting the ball out. If you saw it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly. A bit of the opposite last night. It ended up being a really good game. It was Iowa at Penn State. Now, I'm going to give you a reference here that I think most of you that are basketball fans will know. You know the name Lorenzo Charles? You know who Lorenzo Charles is? Lorenzo Charles is a guy, great player, rest in peace, Lorenzo. But in the 1983 National Championship game, heavy favorite. I mean, heavy favorite. Akeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, the Houston Cougars, against the big underdog, the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Last shot of the game, Derek Wittenberg goes up, shoots from like 30, air ball. Lorenzo Charles catches it in midair and dunks it over his head for the win. He won the national championship on that game. Well, last night, I don't think I've seen that again. I've seen tip-ins at the buzzer. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, but I'm not sure I've seen that happen. That happened last night. Keegan Murray from Iowa went and tipped it in over his head at the buzzer. This is why you never listen to announcers. Ready for this? I didn't see the game. I saw the game. I didn't listen to the announcers. I'm sure they had to say, well, all the momentum goes with Penn State. No, it doesn't. All the momentum goes with Iowa. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. All the momentum in a overtime game goes to the team that scores first. So anytime you hear an announcer after a three at the buzzer tell you, well, all the momentum is now with the team that hit the three. No. 75% of the time, 75%, the team that makes the first bucket, not free throw, basket, wins in overtime. The game ended up great. It was 90-86. It went back and forth. I've never seen anything in this regard ever. The starting guards for Iowa shot 0 for 11, and they scored 86 points. The backup guard played 28 minutes because I believe the starting guard, Toussaint, got hurt for Iowa. He played 28 minutes as a guard and went 0 for 7. So between Toussaint Bohannon and Ulis, the three guys that are their biggest, the three guards that played the most shot 0 for 18, and they scored 86 points. Iowa runs good offense, don't get me wrong, but I've never seen that before. I've never seen starting guards go and the sixth man go 0 for, and obviously that includes from three. Now, they made a couple free throws. They made 9 free throws between the three of them. But look, if you'd have told me that happened in the Duke game with Notre Dame, I said, all right. But they scored 86 points, and that's what their guards did. The Murrays are pretty good. Patrick McCaffrey's pretty good. Penn State's doing pretty well, man. Penn State, Micah Shrewsbury's a good coach. He's doing a good job. Nobody, I don't give a damn what you think my reputation is because some guys and gals that are professors say I'm a misogynist. My ass. All I do is live with women. And women love me, always have, because women are smart, women understand, women don't take no bullshit. And they also know, if you're in sports, that nobody cares about women's sports more than me. My beloved Indiana Hoosiers. I love all things Indiana Hoosiers. The Indiana Hoosiers are 6th ranked in women's basketball. You want to see a fun group of basketball players, the Indiana Women Hoosiers, except last night. I got to hand it to Naz Hillman and the ladies. I don't know if you call them Lady Wolverines. That sounds stupid to me. How about the Michigan women's basketball team? I don't know what men Wolverines are. I don't know what lady Wolverines are. How about the Michigan Wolverines women's basketball team? 65-50. Here's what made this fun. What made this fun was you had number 6 in the country against number 5 in the country. That was great. Naz Hillman's a stud. Naz Hillman with 21. Same thing in this, though. All right, the winning team. The winning team. The team that beat the 6th ranked team in the country by 15. Shot 1 for 11 from 3. 1 for 11 from 3 is what Michigan shot. Indiana shot a blustery 3 for 14, which is blustery. I mean, think about it. Michigan would have had to shoot 2 for 3 for their next 3 threes to get to that number. Nobody cares about women's sports more than me, except for the women that are in the sports. You got a women's story? I'm in. You got something? I'm in. I'm going to Elon this weekend to watch the Fighting Phoenix play 2 games. And then in a couple weeks, we're all driving down. I'm the biggest women's Harvard softball fan. Syracuse softball, you name it, I'm in. Don't at me, people. Last night, West Virginia was beating Baylor. West Virginia, I've apologized to West Virginia. In 2002, I took your job. In 2002, I was your head coach. I was the head coach of men's basketball at West Virginia. West Virginia was a cesspool under the previous coach. And I had all of this on a yellow pad because I have a saying in my coaching and my professional life, which is, you're not going to own me. So if I think that somebody is cheating, I'm not going to just let them cheat. All right? I'm not letting them cheat even a little bit. I won't do it. All right. So I had all this written down, and I said to the folks, hey, this is what you're doing. They said, you go any farther with this, this is the president of the university, David Hardesty. Smacks his desk, stands up, points at me and my wife. You go any farther with this, we'll destroy you. I'm like, dude, all right. And I started laughing. My wife stood up. Now, my ex-wife never would say a word in these kind of things. My ex-wife stands up and says, yo, Dr. Hardesty, what do you mean destroy us? Well, blah, 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 blah. All right, that's fine. So I left West Virginia. I left West Virginia because I am not working for people I don't respect. I left $3.5 million to go back to a job that gave me $100,000 or $120,000 a year, maybe $110,000, I can't remember. And I had a young family. When I hear people talk about my integrity, I just laugh. But I fast forward to West Virginia, Baylor last night. West Virginia fans kill me. And I always apologize to them. I go, look, 2002, I left. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? I cost you 2 national championships. You know, Beeline doesn't have a national championship ring. Huggins doesn't have a national championship ring, the subsequent coaches. I do. I'm the only one that knew how to win a national championship. So last night, as oftentimes happens, West Virginia's on a little run. West Virginia's beating Baylor. I had been critical of West Virginia. I had said, hey, West Virginia basketball hasn't won a conference title under Bob Huggins. A conference. And here it came, because they were beating Baylor. From Craig Kinder, how about these Mountaineers tonight, Dan? You upset seeing Hugs bounce back so quick? West Virginia got beat. So Craig Kinder, how about those Mountaineers? So I just sent a tweet back. I said it's a 40-minute game. It's a 40-minute game. What can I tell you? It's a 40-minute game. But this is the nonsense that I deal with. Anytime you see a Twitter problem with me, just look at the bios. It's always the same people. It is West Virginia folks, Louisville folks. It can be Iowa folks. It's I hate their team. We're going to crush you. West Virginia crushes me every single time something happens. Oh, I'm sorry, Michigan State folks. You said Bridges doesn't have game. West Virginia got beat in the end because Baylor's a better basketball team. That was a long soliloquy. It's amazing to me. I get a kick out of it. All right. What you really want to talk about is what's going on with your team. That's what you really want to talk about. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, people. You really want to talk about what's going on with your NFL team. Can we see a full screen here? Can we see a full screen of what the hell's going on around here? Here's the deal. Your team is looking for a coach. My team is not looking for a coach. My team is looking for a quarterback. My team is the Colts. Your team's looking for a coach. Let's go through what's going on. All right? You ready? Ready, set, go. Josh McDaniels. I like Josh McDaniels, but let's be honest. Josh McDaniels coming out today and saying, hey, look, I wasn't ready for my first NFL job? What are you doing? Like, you get a chance here. So does that mean you're ready for this one? Are we supposed to believe that all of a sudden, boom, 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 you're ready to rock and roll? Is that what we're supposed to do? Man, I'm a big fan of Josh McDaniels. We talked about it yesterday. We did. We talked about it yesterday, and I told you, I'm a big fan. But today, McDaniels is out here talking about, well, I wasn't really ready. I get you learn lessons. I do. I get it. But damn, don't tell us you weren't ready. Don't say that. Hey, look, I learned lessons. What can I tell you? I thought I knew it all. I don't know. Seems better than, hey, I learned lessons. I didn't get it. I hope McDaniel does well. I think he's got a real chance. But I didn't get it. And I won't get it. I can't get it. I hope he's good. I want him to be good. This is a good comment by McDaniels. Listen to this. When I went to Denver, I knew a little bit of football. I didn't really know people and how important that aspect of this process and maintaining the culture and building the team was. I failed. I didn't succeed at it. Looking at that experience has been one of the best things in my life in terms of my overall growth as a person and as a coach. Now, he's got a guy named David Ziegler as his general manager. Now, Ziegler, newly hired, and McDaniels were roommates, teammates at John Carroll College. So they've spent the last 9 years with the Patriots. I like it. I like it a lot. We're going to see what's happening. But don't ever say you weren't ready. And coaches out there, don't ever say the game was your fault. That'll come back to bite you. Matt Eberflus was introduced yesterday to the Chicago media. Now, I have a lot of friends in the Chicago media. I was on WMVP, the ESPN station there. Caught a lot of hell from used peoples. Used peoples got on my ass hard about the comments that I made, which were simply, look, we're happy to see Eberflus go. Eberflus going is fine with us. We got no problem with Eberflus going. Good for him. He gets a job. I don't think the Colts defense was very good. 29th in the fourth quarter, 25th in terms of sacks. That's really all you need to know. But Eberflus, because this is the way football is working, they, meaning most teams, want to get somebody from the Kansas City tree. You saw it all over the place. So let's go through this. Ryan Poles, a new general manager from Kansas City. He worked with who at Kansas City? He worked with Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Colts, who kept Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator. Eberflus yesterday, I saw the press conference after. I saw the press conference after because I got a call from a very prominent member of the Chicago media saying, what in the hell is this? I go, let me guess. A lot of coach speak, talks about something called loaf. You run to the ball, you get your track shoes on, blah, 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 blah. Yes! Look, here's my stance on coaches. All right? I love you. I love you when you win. Love you. You win, I'm all in on you. You lose, hey, look, you made a lot of money. You're going to have a great life. Don't worry about it. Seriously, don't worry about it. You're going to have a great life. When you get out of coaching, one of the best things you realize is, there's a life here. Seriously. It's maybe the best thing. When coaches like Chris Mack get fired, I send him a congratulations text. You didn't have to serve the sentence. I'm all in on every coach that we're going to talk about once they win. Bills offensive coordinator Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll, interesting. Brian Daboll has everybody on his side. Now, here's what I like about Brian Daboll. Two things. Number one, he looks like us. He is not a packaged slick. He is a big old sausage-eating dude. I guarantee you, you go into that fridge, there are encased meats. Many. There's cheese, there's crackers, there's sausage. There's all kind of chicken wings. I mean, the dude is in Buffalo. Where the hell do you think Buffalo Wings got their started? Come on. The Anchor Bar. Anyway, Brian Daboll got ringing endorsements from players, which isn't always good. But Brian Daboll, the endorsements came with this. hey, look, Stephon Diggs, hey, he's going to be tough on you. He's going to push you. He's going to make you better than you ever thought you could be, but he's going to love you too. That's what you're supposed to do as a coach. I feel like the Giants maybe finally sort of kind of got this right. 3 straight coaches, 2 years a coach. Seems like they've hired children, caricatures. I don't know. Dable at least seems like the perfect fit for right now. But what do I say? I love every coach that wins. If I'm a Bills fan, you can go out. You can go drink some beer, shovel some snow, and tell everybody, hey, we got a great coach. Great. You know what? We'll see. If he wins, love him. If he doesn't, nah. All right. I know there's some stuff here with Jacksonville. You know, my buddy Urban Meyer out. Now they're looking for a coach. They're not going to get a better coach. So what did they do? They went and looked at a second interview with Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson won at a Super Bowl. Super Bowl has cachet. A lot of people in the NFL say win a Super Bowl, you always will get a job. We'll find out, right? Doug Peterson sure worked with Mike McCarthy. Doug Peterson interviewed second time for that job. Here's the deal, though. I don't understand what Byron Leftwich is doing. Byron Leftwich has the job if he wants, but Byron Leftwich is making demands before he gets the job. He doesn't want Trent Baalke there, the general manager. He wants his own guy as a general manager. Respect to you. Respect to you, Byron Leftwich, because the truth is most people do it differently. We want the general manager, and then we'll get the coach. Byron Leftwich said, screw this. I ain't coming unless you hire my guy. Respect. Also, respect to the Jags saying, screw you. You're an unproven coach. We love you. You're one of us. You played here. But you're in no position to make demands. Remember this, people. 32. That's a big number. There's only 32 of these jobs in the NFL. Making demands before you do something, I don't blame you. And I respect it because you got to work in sync with the general manager. You do. But I don't blame the Jacksonville Jaguars either for saying, no, we ain't doing it. If they really want Leftwich, it'll work out. Mark my words. Let's see here. I can't see because I got the shades on. Ryan Poles is the new general manager of the Chicago Bears. Now, I like Ryan Poles. Don't know him. Saw his press conference. It's fine. Again, just win. I'm a Bears fan. This is what I would like to see happen for the Chicago Bears. Did you know that the Chicago Bears, I'm going to give you a number here, have not made the playoffs 9 of the last 11 years? I don't believe that stat, but that's what I was told, and I looked it up, so I believe that stat. They actually made it not this past year, the year before. Here's what I want from the Bears. I don't care if you develop Justin Fields. I don't care if you become the monsters on the midway. I don't care about nicknames. What I care about as a guy that grew up in and around Chicago is that you become consistently good. You have a franchise that you know is going to produce. This year, the Ravens didn't have a great year, but that surprised all of us. Because every year we think the Ravens and the Steelers and the Patriots, right, are always going to be there. We always think the Jags are going to stink. We always think the Lions are going to stink. We don't even think about the Bears anymore because they're not the worst, but they're not interesting. Just Ryan Poles, if I were a Chicago fan, and I am, I want the Bears to have such an organization that they stand for something. Meaning, I don't know, I feel like the Ravens stand for defense. I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers stand for toughness. I feel like the New England Patriots stand for cheating and smarts. I feel like, I don't know, maybe the Rams are getting there. I don't know. But you got to stand for something. I got to feel you. Like, I feel like the Green Bay Packers are to the Chicago Bears what the St. Louis Cardinals are to the Chicago Cubs, and I don't like it. No, I don't like it. I'm going to tell you something. You know, sometimes when you talk, you listen to yourself, and it sounds pretty good. That was pretty good. All right, 10:30, Doug Gottlieb talking college hoops. When we come back, I got a lot to say. Cincinnati Public Schools, I'm all in on you. I don't care if you wear a mask, just don't be a fraud. We're going to get into some of that. And Doug Gottlieb coming up at 10:30. I took the glasses off because I thought I looked too cool. I did. I just thought I looked too cool and you guys couldn't handle all this machismo. I mean, you got a lot here and you put the glasses on and the Wayfarers and it's over, right? I mean, damn. I want to tell you, though, I got these on my birthday, August 17th. My kids got them for me and they swore they would be lost by September 1st, but I'm very proud to say those are there. All right, let's get into some stuff here. Like, the thing I love about being on Outkick is you can talk political. Cincinnati Public Schools, I am all for you. I am so for you. The only people that should be working the day after the Super Bowl are people like me so that you can hear some recap as background noise. The Cincinnati Public Schools, because the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, guess what? They're taking Monday off. Yeah. All right. Look, I'm not the guy that, I don't know, I don't bitch about a lot of things, but I think we got to I do bitch about a lot of things. Delete. I think we got to have a little more fun in this world. In Indiana, high school basketball is really big. And when my father's high school, Calumet High School in Gary, Indiana, won a sectional championship, which is you got to win 3 games. It's the first bracket. You move from the sectional to the regional, 4 teams in the regional, 4 teams in the semi-state, 4 teams in the state finals. We don't, So when my dad's high school won a state sectional at their place, they won the sectional. They beat Maryville High School to win the section. My dad, as the principal, gave them Monday off. And I remember being a kid, Mr. D, everybody going nuts. I live in a world where, yes, we bitch, whine, and moan, but let's do some common sense and let's have some fun. I salute you, Cincinnati Public Schools. The Bengals are in the the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl goes on forever. Mommies and daddies and everybody in Cincinnati is going to be watching. Now, the only thing about missing school is, you kind of like to hang with your boys at school after a Super Bowl. I can still to this day, and I don't know how old I was, but I know where I was when I was arguing about the first, this is how old I am, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier fight. And I was glad I was in school that day so that I could talk about it. But good for you, Cincinnati Public Schools. Good for you. Joe Ingles. Do you know who Joe Ingles is? Joe Ingles is an Australian. He's a really good shooting forward for the Utah Jazz. He's out for the season with a knee. Now, look, I'll bet you I've seen Joe Ingles play in the regular season maybe once, maybe never. I don't know. But the Jazz are in the playoffs, and Joe Ingles is always good in the playoffs. He may not have the numbers. I haven't even looked it up because I don't care. Every time I watch the Jazz, Joe Ingles with his left hand is whapping shots. Joe Ingles looks like us. Joe Ingles got a dad bod, receding hairline, about 6'9", whatever he is. Joe Ingles looks exactly like what Joe Ingles is going to look like in 10 years when he's playing in a beer league, drinking a Foster's, having a great time, probably still wearing a mask in Australia. Joe Ingles being out for the season hurts me in the playoffs. I don't know where Utah is. I don't care. I don't follow it. I don't follow the Utah Jazz. But I love Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles being out, not good. And Governor Newsom. I don't care whether anybody wears a mask around me. Let's be honest. I wear a mask to work every day downtown Indy because they say I should. And I am respectful. On my floor at the Emma's building, the 6th floor, there used to be filled with people. Now there's literally nobody there. There's me, my producer that's over there, maybe our head of sales, the great Aaron Wannenberg. But basically, there's nobody there. James and Billy Connor, maybe they're their sales folks, great sales folks. Joe Koppel, maybe there's a few. But there really is nobody there. Todd Meyer, our executive producer, but I wear a mask when I'm in a meeting area because that's what you're supposed to do. I've been vaxxed. But I don't tell everybody what they're supposed to do. And if I did tell everybody what they're supposed to do, then you can be damn sure in public I would do it. Governor Gavin Newsom, I'm so tired of not only him, but all these politicians. I'm so tired of them. They tell us what we're supposed to do. They say, let me read to you what California has, a universal mask mandate that requires residents to wear face coverings in all indoor public spaces and in common areas of outdoor mega events with 5,000 or more people. All people attending large indoor or outdoor events have to wear a mask except when they're eating or drinking. Well, there's all kind of pictures of Governor Newsom not wearing a mask. Now, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you, what do you think's going to happen? Like, what do you think is going to happen when you are pictured with Magic Johnson not wearing a mask? I don't give a rat's ass whether you wear a mask or not. I don't give a rat's ass about California other than a part by Newport Beach that I didn't stay at, but my wife and I went to and we kind of liked. I don't give a damn about it. I don't give a damn whether some governor, but do what you say you're going to do. You and Eric Garcetti, you know people are pissed. You know people are watching. Just do what you say you're going to do. Do what you're trying to make the rest of us do, and then don't bullshit us. I mean, it's not that hard. That's the exhausting thing. AOC hates Florida. Where's she vacationing? Florida. Look, I don't care about a look. I just got killed on Twitter last weekend because of a look. I get it. People are going to pile on. But my thing is, if you're in a position of leadership, lead. Okay? That's as simple as I can make it. And I don't know any other thing about it. We just got breaking news. We just got breaking news that, frankly, makes me look like an idiot. And that's no surprise. All right? That's no surprise. Tom Brady has officially announced his retirement. That just broke. And if you're going to be on this show, then we are going to talk about it. Well, yesterday I said Brady, and I knew this was wrong, and I don't blame these reporters for going at me. I knew when I read this tweet from Spot Attack, I think it was, the last part basically refuted the first part. I was dead wrong on what I read yesterday. I trusted a tweet and thought I was smarter than everybody else. So I apologize. I was wrong. I was. I thought Brady had to stay until the 5th or the 4th to get his $15 million. But when I read the end of the tweet, I was a little Ron Burgundy-ish yesterday. I was. I wonder how many people like me are going to say they were wrong. I was wrong. Tom Brady, breaking news, has officially, according to ESPN, announced his retirement. Now, I'm going to need a little help here from the boys and the gals in the back as I look this up, because I also said that Tom Brady will be the person that announces his own retirement. If I'm wrong there, then I am wrong. What post am I looking at? But I like it. Oh, Tom Brady on Instagram. Yeah, okay. Good for Tom Brady. Tom Brady announced his retirement, Lee. So you know what that means? That means this. You're a coach, Lee.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to be on camera.
No.
What do we say when people retire? Oh, I love that guy. He was the best. By the end of the day, what are they saying about the coach?
Oh, they hated him.
No. Who's going to be the next coach?
Oh, yeah.
I love Lee Ross as the coach.
Oh, yeah.
She was the best. Oh, my God, I can't believe she retired. Hey, who's next? Yeah, Tom Brady's Instagram post. Good for him. Good for him. Tom Brady on Twitter. Good for him. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, Lauren, for this. Beautiful. Tom Brady broke his own news. So there you go. I've always believed the sport of football is an all-in proposition. If 100% competitive commitment isn't there, you won't succeed. Success is what I love so much about our game. Physical, mental, emotional challenge every single day that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential. And I've tried my very best these past 22 years. No shortcuts to the success on the field or in life. This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I'm not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I've loved my NFL career. Now it's time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. I've done a lot of reflecting the past week. I've asked myself difficult questions. I'm so proud of what we've achieved. My teammates, coaches, fellow competitors, fans deserve 100% of me, but right now, it's best I leave the field of play to the next generation of dedicated and committed athletes. To my Bucs teammates the past 2 years, I love you guys. I've loved going to battle with you. I have dug so deep to challenge. You have dug so deep to challenge yourself, and it inspired me to wake up every day and give you my best. I am always here for you guys and want to see you continue to push yourself to be your best. Couldn't be happier with what we've accomplished together. And then it goes on and on and on. So Tom Brady has retired, which is interesting. And I screwed that up yesterday because I read a tweet that I swear to God I knew at the end. I'm like, wait a second, this kind of refutes that. But hey, the past is the past. I can't live today regretting yesterday. Isn't that what we're supposed to say? Hell, I don't know. Well, ironically enough, this is how good Lauren is in setting up the show. Ironically enough, guess what? We have our list already ready. I got to put the shades on. I'm sorry, I don't look good today. We have a list already in place, ladies and gentlemen. We have our list in place for you, for who is going to replace Tom Brady. Are you ready? This is already done. So we got billboards. Here we go. Number 1, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, a free agent. Aaron Rodgers may not want to follow Tom Brady around. Don't know. Aaron Rodgers may feel like actually, Aaron Rodgers isn't a free agent. Aaron Rodgers has an agreement. Let's put it that way, a 1-year agreement. Okay. So, Aaron Rodgers, does he want to follow Brady around? Does he want to follow Brady around? I don't know. But I don't think that's the biggest issue. I would argue the biggest issue is this. Does he think Tampa Bay can get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl? Or does he think Green Bay can get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl? Or does he think another team can get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl and needs a quarterback? Because let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Tom Brady didn't really need Tampa Bay and that Super Bowl to enhance his legacy. Peyton Manning kind of did need a couple Super Bowls with the Broncos to enhance his legacy. Kind of did. Kind of, sort of did. I think Aaron Rodgers absolutely does. Is Aaron Rodgers top 5 quarterback of all time? Yes. Does one more Super Bowl move him up? Probably not. But, at the end of the deal, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, it isn't about chasing. It's not like the NBA where Shaq's sitting on the end of every bench. That ain't it. This ain't about that. What this is about is a guy still good enough to be in the MVP conversation, going to a team that can get him to a place that he's only been once, and that's the Super Bowl, or twice, I guess. All right, next guy, Jimmy G. Wouldn't that be something? Remember back when New England drafted Jimmy G? Remember back when New England said to Tom Brady, hey, man, you're great. We love you. But when there's a quarterback around, we're going to draft that quarterback. And they did it with Jimmy G. Now, push came to shove. Brady pushed. Then Brady shoved. And then Jimmy G went across country. Jimmy G, everybody tells me, has 1 year left on his contract. Everybody tells me Jimmy G is done. Trey Lance is the guy. But this is different than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers wants to go to Tampa Bay. Guess what Bruce Arians does? Hops on the first private plane, picks up Aaron Rodgers, loads his house, gets 2 men in a truck, Mayflower, whatever moving company. He'll pack it himself and brings his ass all the way back to Tampa. Jimmy G, you got to sit this one down. Jimmy G, you got to sit this one and do some figuring. Is he good enough? What do we have? What's our system? How does it fit? But here's the interesting thing. To replace Tom Brady, Bill Belichick thought Jimmy G fit. I don't know. That was years ago. Maybe Jimmy G's shell-shocked. Maybe Jimmy G has PTSD football style where, he can't get out of his own way. Don't know. But he would be a guy on the table. Sam Howell. You know who Sam Howell is? Sam Howell's at North Carolina. Sam Howell's supposed to be a phenom throwing the football. Not great. Not a phenom in terms of the, Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, guy coming out of college, but a guy that can whip the football around at a pretty good clip. Guy everybody seems to like. He may be the first quarterback picked in the draft. I don't know. I'll wait for all those mock drafts to come out. Who knows? But I will say this, that would be the guy that Tampa Bay would look at should they be going with a quarterback that is not a veteran. If they're going for a rookie, then you got to look at that, right? Because Tom Brady, I like what Brady did. Let me back up. And again, let me say, I was dead wrong. I'm not blaming it on the tweet. I read the tweet. It got like 60,000 people. I'm sure Twitter's killing me because Twitter kills me. They love to, and I love them for it. I got it wrong. I read that Brady had to wait until Saturday. He doesn't. What a stupid I am. I apologize if it offended you, particularly if it offended you. I apologize for being wrong. We shouldn't be wrong on this show. And by the way, there is no we. That was solely on me. Nobody but me got that wrong. Anyway, Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask is out of Florida. He's a second-year guy. Kyle Trask, first-year rookie, I think. It doesn't matter. Kyle Trask was considered, Kyle Trask had a damn good senior year at Florida under Danny Mullen. Kyle Trask isn't good enough to replace Tom Brady as we sit here right now, but Kyle Trask has already been at Tampa Bay. Kyle Trask has learned under Brady. It's no stretch to say that, the guy that you saw play full-time at Florida isn't the guy that he is now. In fact, you would hope that the guy that you saw play at Florida isn't the guy that you're seeing now. Shouldn't be the guy that you see now. You're in the NFL. You've trained. There is no class. There is nothing other than getting better. If you have dedicated yourself the way that Tom Brady has dedicated himself, then I don't know if you're good enough, but I know you got a chance to be good enough. I know you can be good enough. Well, no, I don't know that either. I know that you should be one hell of a lot better than you were last 2 years, period. So is he the guy that's going to do it? I don't know. The hell do I know? I have no idea. But he might be. Lastly, we got to go with Tim Tebow. How the hell do you not go with Tim Tebow? Everything south of the Georgia-Florida line revolves around Tim Tebow. If Tim Tebow says it, we do it. If Tim Tebow thinks it, it happens. Tim Tebow is the male Oprah. If you ever watch the show 30 Rock, Oprah is pretty much the god of the show. I'm sorry, Oprah. Tim Tebow is that. If Tim Tebow takes a dump, we want to know. Hey, what was he eating? I did an interview one time with Marty Smith. Marty Smith is really funny. Marty Smith is really good. Marty Smith's on ESPN, and you see him now. He's expanded. He does a sideline deal and all that stuff, okay? So Marty Smith, I'm interviewing Smith, and he is at Tebow's house. And I said something about, what, you guys having a sandwich? And Marty, well, of course not. We're at Tim Tebow's house. Like, I'm supposed to know that Tim Tebow doesn't eat bread. Like, I'm supposed to know what Tim Tebow's dietary habits are. Hey, Tim Tebow, you need to go quarterback Tampa Bay. You need to close it out, baby, because in Florida, across the country, Tebow time is old time. We don't ever get away from Tebow time. I remember when all those jealous pricks in the media got mad at Urban and Tebow because, well, frankly, he brought him in to be a tight end. How much whining was there? How much crying was there? That made the list, right? That made Urban's list of why he's a bad guy. You know what I mean? He brought in Urban. Urban brought in Tim Tebow. Hey, you're in Florida. Like Serbian people, my people, we get our house blessed and holy water on it. You can't have a franchise in Florida unless, well, Tim Tebow blesses the establishment. Bring back Tebow. Bring back Tebow now. It's Tebow time. No, it's not. All right, hey, Lauren, do me a favor. Put that out as a little segment and watch all the little D-bags lose their mind. Dakich is an idiot. I knew Dakich was an idiot. Who's my favorite? Someone just asked me. That's easy. Go get yourself Aaron Rodgers. And let me talk about that just for a second, okay? Aaron Rodgers, hold on a second. Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old, which means he's going to be 40. By this time next year, Aaron Rodgers will be 40. We don't think about him retiring. I talked about this the other day. I want you to think about that. 39 years old used to be considered, oh, I don't know. 39 years old used to be considered old. It ain't old no more. It ain't even a little bit old. It ain't even close to old. No. And the fact of the matter is, I don't hear a single person. Today's Tuesday, so he'll be on Pat McAfee's show. I don't hear a single person talking about retiring with Aaron Rodgers. And it's because of Tom Brady. If Tom Brady had retired at 39 or whatever, Drew Brees probably would have had too. But now it's okay. Aaron Rodgers has to be number one on your hit parade if you're Tampa Bay. Aaron Rodgers has to be number one on your hit parade if you're the Indianapolis Colts. Aaron Rodgers has to be number one on your hit parade if you are the Denver Broncos. His buddy just went there to go coach. If you are serious and have a seriously close franchise, then Aaron Rodgers has to be the guy. One of my favorite things is looking and seeing this time of year how everybody demands that these guys make decisions. Tom Brady made his. Does Aaron Rodgers have to make his? Looks like he's gonna. It's going to be interesting. Jimmy G doesn't have that kind of leverage. One of my favorite things to do is admit that I'm wrong. And I knew this was going to happen. So come at me, do all you want, everything you want, and away you go. Away you go. What's going to be interesting coming up here is this. Who ends up with the Vikings job? Why, you ask? Because I think it's going to be John Harbaugh. Clip that, and I'll probably be wrong again. But they are going to talk. They are talking. They are in discussion. And frankly, doesn't mean he's going to take the job. I was wrong on one other guy, two actually, both of whom took the job and then backed out at the last minute. One was Matt Painter to Missouri, and the other was Purdue coach Jeff Brom to Louisville. So I'm kind of out of the coach predictions, but I do know this from somebody that knows both sides. Very interested in that Vikings job. All right, Tom Brady retired. I tell you what I'll do. I have not been on the YouTube chat. If any of you YouTubers on the YouTube chat, go to youtube.com and check us out. I will get some feedback from you. Whatever you want to do, I will give it to you. Come to me with that, and I will read some of the feedback on Tom Brady retiring. Doug Gottlieb coming on. We'll talk with Doug about Tom Brady retiring. Doug hosts a very popular afternoon drive show on Fox. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk when we come back. Hey, people, sack the up. I'll tell you what that's all about. I'll give you some fades, 2 and 1 yesterday. Don't leave us. Tell your friends I'm picking my ear. I was wrong. I was wrong about Brady. What else you want me to say? I was wrong. We'll be back. Hey, the big news of the day is Tom Brady has retired, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Tom Brady has announced his retirement after 22 years in the NFL. I really screwed that up. I read a tweet from Spotak, and you never believe anything on Twitter, and nobody knows that better than me. But I am done. I am absolutely done apologizing. I said it, I'm doing it, and I'm done. All right. I got crushed last week on Twitter. I get crushed all the time. I'm sure I'm getting crushed right now. But you know what? Here's the deal. Why don't we, instead of just sitting around bitching, whining, moaning, why don't we ask people their opinions? Why don't we ask why? Like, I made a mistake on my Twitter account. I was trying to honor a guy, and people crushed me because they knew what I was thinking, supposedly. So they crushed it. They didn't believe what I had said, which is fine. But I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hate. You're an asshole. You're the worst. You're devious. You're evil. When truthfully, it was an honest mistake that I didn't realize this until Saturday. I did not put this picture in my Twitter page. I put it in the replies, which made it seem like it was something that it wasn't. But you know what I learned that Friday and Saturday, as newspapers were writing articles, as people were calling me horrendous things, as guys were wanting me to die? Nobody asked me why. Not one person said, "Hey, Dan, why did you do that?" Not one person said, "I want to listen to your apology," which I gave. I did, because it was a bad look. I should have put context on the picture. I didn't. I get what it looked like, but not one person out of hundreds and thousands. And this isn't about me. This is across the board. My parents were teachers. They were all teachers. My dad was a teacher. They were all. I got two parents. My dad was a teacher. My mom was a teacher. Gary Public Schools. Gary, Indiana. Not public schools. Ross Township Public Schools. Anyway, in Gary, Indiana. And they taught me to ask why. They taught me to read, think, and know that there's a backstory to everything. And I'm not talking about my issue. My issue is my issue. But I'm talking about in general. How about just once, instead of just rushing to judgment on somebody or something, we ask why? Like, you know what I would really be interested in? You know what I would be really, really interested in? Why did Tom Brady retire? Why did Tom Brady retire? Like, I get the whole, well, you know, the personal thing, blah, blah. Okay, but I want to know, there's always a backstory here. Why? We don't ask why. How about we sack up and ask why? Why did you do that? Not, oh my God, you're the worst human being alive for doing that. That's all we do. We wait, we sit and wait, and we can't wait. I wonder if anybody is going to say to Tom Brady, Tom, I saw what you got here. I saw what you said. Now, can I just ask you a question? Why'd you retire, really? Well, you know, I didn't feel like, hey, Dan, I didn't feel like waking up at 6 in the morning, juicing my own food. I didn't feel like going through everything that you go through. And people always think that's just the greats. People always think, well, you know, the greats do. No, I did all that crap just to get good enough to win the sectional in high school. I know guys that did that crap just to make their varsity team. I know guys that are so dedicated to things just to get in front of a camera. I'm telling you. So I would like to know from Brady and from others, why? Why really are we having these mask mandates? Why really are we not allowing things like ivermectin? See, in every instance, in everything that you see, there is a backstory. I'm telling you, there's a backstory. There is nothing that is as it seems. Nothing. Zero. Nada. There's a backstory. Like, You may believe the backstory. You may not believe the backstory. That's on you. But we need to start asking why. Tom Brady, that'll be my question. Tom, I read what you said. I love what you said. We all get what you said. But what specifically did you not like doing to get yourself ready for a season? And he's not necessarily going to answer that the way you want it, but he might. You might learn that he lifts weights at 4 in the morning, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I saw a friend's daughter that grew up where her dad was always working. I didn't want to do it. I don't know, but God damn, do we not ask why? And it sack the hell up. I'll tell you damn near, unless it's totally personal, I'll tell you damn near why about everything that I do. But when I tell you why, oh my God. And I'm not Tom Brady. I'm not Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't need me. Nobody needs anything. But the truth of the matter is, man, oh man. Just ask why. Simple. All right. Yesterday I went 2-1. I went 2-1 in my fades, and I wasn't happy about it. Next 2 games, take this from me. Next 2 games, the Indiana Pacers play, bet them to win. And if you can get them right now in a 2-game parlay on themselves, bet them to win. They're on a 3-game homestand. Yesterday's was money. I don't know what I was thinking. I actually bet it, so I won. Should have given it to you. Let's see what we got here. Providence. Man, I wish I had in my ear, Lauren. The Providence Flyers are 18-2. The Providence Flyers are tough as hell. This right here is found money. This right here, plus 3.5. I'm going to it right now. See this? I'm going to my site right this minute. And I am going to bet this game. I may lose this game. Probably will lose this game. Because quite frankly, I'm on a bad run. But I don't care. Providence getting 3.5 against a team in St. John's who's playing really well. Like St. John's is playing well. But I don't care. St. John's beat Lawrence Seton Hall Pirates by 6,214. And they did it at this old barn that's supposed to be so tough to play in for Seton Hall. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I don't want to hear about it. The idea is you had a big win. You can't handle it. I'll take 3.5 points. I'll take Providence. And I'm going right now, if I can find the damn game, which all of a sudden isn't on my app here, I'm going to make the bet right now. That's how much I believe in that bet. So don't at me, people. I'm telling you right now, I'm betting Providence. And I ain't messing around. There it is. Next bet. Let me see here. Michigan State -4 at Maryland. All right, surface-wise, dangerous game. Yeah, it is. It's a dangerous game because Maryland just played so freaking awful, I can't even tell you how awful they played. They were so bad against Indiana that frankly, and this will piss people off, they should give their scholarship back. That's how bad they were against Indiana. They should have right now, I just made the bet. They should right now, they should, it said I made a $100,000 bet. That ain't great. Get rid of that. Frankly, they should right now walk around with, there you go. Now it's made. That's what I do. It's not professional here, people. Maryland stinks. Maryland should right now have a bucket. You know how you go to Catholic Mass and they pass, you got to give your envelope and they have these little bucket things that they send down the aisle? They should do that with scholarship money after the game Saturday for Maryland players. Give me a scholarship. Thank you. Thank you. If you're not going to play, don't take the money. in what industry do you get to play or don't do your job? I guess in every industry you have a bad day. So never mind. Don't take their money because I know all of the talking heads, all the little libbies will be mad. But hey, look, play better, will you please, Maryland? But don't play better tonight. I'm taking Michigan State. 4 is 1 point too many, but I ain't mad at it. Hey, speaking of scholarships, can I just tell you, Virginia and Boston College, both of these schools put a lot of money. They put a lot of money into basketball. They put a lot of money into meals. They put a lot of money into NIL. They put a lot of money into facilities. The most is into scholarships. Virginia, not too long ago, a couple years, won national championship. Boston College has struggled forever. Boston College has a new coach. All right, this is going to be the guy. Okay, fine, it's the guy. Gary Williams and Jim O'Brien, great coaches. But this is the guy. Great, fine, whatever. I don't care. Tony Bennett, best coach in the country. Great, fine, whatever. I don't care. You got to be able to score 60 points in a college basketball freaking game. Now, the line here is 119. That's total points, both teams. Both teams. A scholarship that the school pays, or however you want to phrase it, I don't care. It's about $150,000 a kid a year. You're telling me, multiply that by 13. That's how much money's paid in guys on scholarship to play basketball at one of the schools. Double that number. That's the amount of money. You know how much money is paid in guys sitting on the bench in suits? And in a 40-minute game, you two guys can't score 60 each? I don't care. I'm taking it. 119 points is an abomination. I think the Pacers gave up 119 points last week they didn't. They gave up 158, though. I was going to say in the first half. Pacers themselves gave up 158. 119, that was in the third quarter. I don't know what to tell you. But if you can't go get 60, you shouldn't be on a Division I basketball scholarship. You're killing the game. Drive you nuts. Seriously. So I'm taking that one. All right? Hey, Lauren. Seton Hall, baby. Seton Hall, Georgetown. They played a little bit ago. No. I got it wrong. That was Providence. Seton Hall, Georgetown. I'm watching Georgetown the other day. I root for Georgetown. Patrick Ewing and I are the same age. When I went and did college basketball games and I went in the Garden to see Patrick Ewing, awesome dude. I told him we always wanted to play. I played at Indiana. He played at Georgetown. Obviously, he was great. I was bad. But during a particular tournament run in 1984, somehow Bob Knight wised up and I was starting. We were one game away. We were in the Elite Eight. Beat Michael Jordan. We were in the Elite Eight, had a chance to go to the Final Four where we might have faced Georgetown. I told Patrick I wanted to play Georgetown because I wanted to punch Michael Graham, who was the toughest guy in college basketball. I did. I wanted to punch Michael Graham and see what happened. I told Coach Knight that too. He said he'd kill you. I go, maybe so, but I want to do it. So anyway, we didn't play Georgetown. Ewing was laughing, and he was a great guy. But they're struggling. He's had too many transfers. I saw one last night, James Akinjo, playing really well for Baylor. It's sad because I want Patrick to be successful. Seton Hall's at a bit of a crossroads. They're 12-7, and they're letting fans like Lauren down. And let me tell you something. Of all the people in the world, you don't let Lauren down. Because Lauren is the type of fan that'll go to every game, even though she's been out of college a few years. Lauren is the type of person that sends her friends pictures of where she's sitting. Lauren is the type of person that will jump around her apartment when she gets a big win, whether it's Tom Brady or whether it is Seton Hall. And I feel bad for Lauren because she's a huge Tom Brady fan. I got all that in pretty quick. Seton Hall is going to beat the living hell out of Georgetown tonight. I think so anyway. If Georgetown wins, then good for Georgetown. But last time I saw Georgetown, they weren't very good. And here's what happens. Don't bet the first half on this, because guys will play this time of year. And then at the end, they'll fall off the wayside. In about a week, it's the best time to make money on college basketball. And I'm going to kill it next week. In fact, I may start something that says Dan makes you $1,000 next week. In fact, I think I am. I think it's next week. What would that be? The 5th, 6th? Yeah, it's getting to be about that time. I will make us $1,000 next week. We should have a promotion. Dan will make you $1,000 next week. Starting right now, it is Seton Hall -7 over Georgetown. All right, let's look at this. Couple games tonight. I watched Kansas the other night. Anybody seen Kansas? My God. Kentucky went into Kansas and beat Kansas like Kansas was standing on its frickin' head. It was an ass whooping of epic proportions. It was the kind of ass whooping where you went, damn, is this University of Kansas at Newman? Or is this Kansas? Holy cow. Iowa State's pretty good. In fact, Iowa State is actually very good. I watch Iowa State. They got a terrific coach. They talk about Hilton Magic. Here's one of the reasons, not the only reason, I screwed it up, but one of the reasons Iowa State fans went nuts on me this week, and they got mad when I did the Iowa State game at Hilton, and I didn't give them love. I mean, I got killed after the game because I didn't think Hilton Coliseum was this magical place. I thought it was, You're getting your ass kicked by Iowa. The fans sat around. They didn't really do anything. What did they do? They sat around. So Hilton Magic, my ass. So Iowa fans have, Iowa State fans lost their minds on me. I mean, lost it the other day. And even though I apologize, and it was clearly a mess up, not a mock, but Iowa State fans, because of me going into Hilton, lost their absolute mind. Well, guess what? I ain't taking you tonight either. The sign of a great program is how you bounce back. I think Kansas bounces back tonight. Am I going to bet them? No, because I don't want to bet a team that just got their ass beat. I don't trust a team that just got their ass beat. You might. I don't. Hey, let me go back to something with Tom Brady, will you? And Lauren, we can go rogue here or however you want to do it. Couple of things that stand out to me with Tom Brady. Number one, and this is a question I would ask, and I'm going to ask Doug Gottlieb because he may know the answer. When did Tom Brady really get serious about his conditioning, physical shape, mental conditioning, the whole deal? Because we glorify Tom Brady's body when he was in college. We glorify Tom Brady's look when he was in college as not being athletic. Well, what does that tell me? That tells me when Tom Brady was in college, like a lot of us were, I'm older than Tom, but like a lot of us were way back then, hey man, we ate pizzas, lifted weights, did that. But I wondered when Tom Brady got serious about it. I always wanted to ask him that. I always thought it'd be interesting to know, was there a particular event that precipitated you becoming what you became, not only as a champion, but as a health and fitness guru? Did something happen? Because again, we all say, look at him. Look how bad that body was. That tells me he didn't take it that serious in college or even going into the combine. Second thing I'd like to know from Tom Brady, like what was truly the impact of Bill Belichick? Now, great coach, love him to death, wouldn't have won without it. Okay, fine. We get all that, right? We got it. But was Bill Belichick the person that made you understand what I was just talking about? Fitness. Was he the guy that said, hey, here's where you are, here's where you need to get to, and here's how to do it? Was it in fact Belichick? Or was it someone else? Was it a coach? Was it a teammate? You know, we get motivated by very different things. You know what I'd like to know? And I don't think I've ever seen this. People don't know. They see Tom Brady as, you know, the coolest guy in the world, the most fun guy, great family. But he also had a wife that he walked out on earlier in his life. I don't begrudge a guy or a gal for doing whatever. That's their business. But I would be interested, again, going back to the psychology of this, how did that impact you? Because we all don't live public lives. We all don't. It is not as it seems ever. So did that, not on the field, I'm not talking about on the field with this one, did what he did in leaving his wife and son, I think it is, did that impact how he is going forward with his current wife and children and his son from his first marriage to the Moynihan actress? Those are things that I'm interested in. Like every slap that I guarantee you turn on ESPN right now, every slap is going, he's the greatest of all time. Any list of Tom Brady's, any list of quarterbacks got to have Tom Brady on it. Okay, that's fine. We know this. Or his impact as a teammate was immeasurable. Okay, yeah, I know. I'd like to know those things. I'd like to hear from Tom Brady that. Now, the Man in the Arena is the show that Brady does. And by all accounts, it's a fantastic show. I've not seen it. In fact, I didn't know anything about it until yesterday. I was reading a book and I was scrolling through the guide and I saw the Man in the Arena. I clicked on it to see what it was. And it wasn't on yet. You know, when you go to your guide, you can go ahead and click and it said what it is. So that's what I did. I'm going to watch that because maybe he answers these questions. But none of these reporters, I don't see any of these reporters asking these kind of questions. And maybe Brady wouldn't answer. But it is going to be now. And let me give you a last thing before we go to break and get Doug Gottlieb, who's covered Tom Brady. Let me give you a last thing. You know, everybody criticized, and rightfully so, Bill Belichick for not letting Brady retire as a New England Patriot. Rightfully so. But you know what Belichick's deal has always been? And I admire this so much as a coach. His deal has always been, I'm going to get rid of you before I have to. I'm going to get rid of you 1 year ahead of time. Well, the way this whole thing worked out, it ended up being 2 years ahead of time. 2 great years for great. Not good, great for Tom Brady. Hell, he might win the MVP. I would argue between this retirement and Aaron Rodgers not being vaxxed, the people that vote for the MVP are going to vote for Tom Brady. I would bet he wrapped up the MVP award. But Belichick wasn't wrong here. Belichick was not wrong in doing what he did. Emotionally, I think we'd have loved to have Tom Brady stay. I don't care. Like, I'm a little like Mike Golick used to be with Mike and Mike. I don't care less. But I get it. People would have liked to have seen him retire with the Patriots. But Belichick knew. Belichick didn't know. I mean, he missed it by a year. 2 years Brady played. One of those years was a Super Bowl. Hey, and in the same year, Belichick did not make it out of the playoffs, or into the playoffs, excuse me. I get it, but Belichick, you can get mad at him, and I know he's like the easiest guy in the world to get mad at. I hate Belichick. Belichick. Okay, fine. But I'm just telling you, he wasn't wrong. Last thing about Brady. Do you think as we move forward here, do you think that Tom Brady will ever have to deal with the fact that he got suspended in that whole Deflategate thing? That's not even an issue, is it? It's fascinating to me. Get on the right side of the media. I am the poster child for being on the wrong side of the media. As one of my bosses said yesterday, you get no grace. Get on the right side of the media and do it now. If you're involved in this, do it now. Because frankly, Tom Brady is not going to have to deal with a 4-game suspension for cheating. He's not going to have to deal with anything that isn't him being the greatest. He's not going to have to deal with anything about his ex-wife and his child that he left. He ain't dealing with that. Good for him. Rest of us, we got to deal with that. All right. When we come back, Dan Dakich is a complete moron and has never been right about anything in his entire life. See, I would argue that. I was right about my kids. I raised my kids pretty well. I have. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm the smartest guy, but I'm also not going to say that I'm a complete moron, a partial moron. Give me partial, not complete, partial. All right, we need more of you to start watching. Gottlieb's coming on, and when Gottlieb comes on, we need a big audience. Doug Gottlieb has covered for his national radio show. You guys think of Doug Gottlieb as a basketball guy, just like you do me, but our takes on coaching and life and all that other stuff are spot on. Doug's traveling. He's nice enough that he's going to make some time for us. So we'll talk to Doug Gottlieb when we come back. Hope you're all having a great day. This is Don't At Me on Outkick. He's literally the best because he knows, he's smart, he understands from every side, every angle, and his talk show in the afternoons on Fox Sports Radio, you can hear it on Sirius, is fantastic. It's Doug Gottlieb. My friend, I know you're off a plane, can't thank you enough. Hey, can I ask you real quick, you heard the news of Tom Brady, what are your thoughts?
Wait, Tom Brady retired again? This is twice in the last 3 days. What the hell's going on here? What do you think? He's trying to do a Brett Favre in like a week? I mean, look, dude, I think we knew if you listen to Giselle talk about how many concussions he didn't report a couple years ago, she didn't want him to play, right? And she let him, all right, you want to have one last go round in the warmth of the South, go for it. Then he won a Super Bowl. He's like, ooh, can I go back and do it again? Okay. And now you're done. You move on. But anytime somebody starts to say, my family at the end of the year, that's just your wife won't let you keep playing, right? And the wife is like, we're good here. So an amazing career. I mean, I think look, you know this as a player and a coach and somebody who covers sports. Winning is not an accident, right? It's just not. And when the guy wins, like literally every year he's been in the National Football League, he didn't make the playoffs one time in New England. One time in his entire career, he doesn't make the playoffs. Winning is not an accident. And while Aaron Rodgers and maybe John Elway had greater physical attributes, the reason he's the greatest quarterback ever is not because of a ball he threw or a play he made. It's because winning followed him. Whatever it is about him, whatever it's his level of commitment that's taking care of his body, his level of commitment that's allowed him to have great relationships with people he played with, just an overwhelming belief in self, which you can't lose as an athlete. And he always had it, even as a 6th-round pick. Guy's the best. Immobile, like raced the pregnant woman, came in 3rd immobile, but it didn't matter. He found a way to overcome his one weakness, which was his athletic ability. And he succeeded for over 20 years at the very hardest position in all of sports. Nothing but respect for the guy.
Let me go back. You have a national show. You cover this and him. I don't know if I've ever heard this. I don't know if anybody's answered this. Maybe you know the answer to this. When Tom Brady, I saw a picture of you the other day, Doug. Swear to God. And you're beating somebody off the dribble at Oklahoma State, and you're ripped. Like you're ripped. Now you can make fun of yourself if you want to, but you were ripped when I saw you.
Sure.
So I go back to Tom Brady. Tom Brady was not ripped, okay? And we've all seen the picture of him at the Combine. So my question isn't, wow, look at how great he became. What made him all of a sudden, who made him all of a sudden, what transpired all of a sudden for him to go for a guy that clearly didn't care about his physical prowess to a guy that became a health and fitness guru, and it enabled him to play for 22 years. Is there any word there what happened?
No, but I think that's an awesome podcast discussion, right? That you'd love to have it. When was the aha moment that he was like, and lots of guys have this. Draymond Green was a kind of slob athletically when he's at Michigan State, and probably in an effort to stay in the league, he lost weight, and it's changed his life forever, right? So I think a little bit of Brady. There's a little bit of faking it until he made it, right? Like because the first couple of years he was just managing that thing, using his brain because his skill wasn't there. But here's an interesting part. In addition to when he became the health and fitness guru, and in his own way, like LeBron James, is a picture of longevity, the likes of which we haven't previously seen. Is as great as he was, he actually didn't win a Super Bowl when he was at his peak. They went 18-0, lost in the Super Bowl. Then he hurt his knee. And that next year's team still won 11 games without him. That's how good that team was. They won 16, then they won 11 without him, with Matt Castle at quarterback. So imagine how good he might have been had he not gotten hurt. On the other hand, had he not gotten hurt, might his career have burned out quicker, right? Had he not. So I don't know. I don't know if it was the knee injury and he just decided, I'm not getting hurt anymore. I don't like that. He became this expert in pliability. I think some of it is also positional. and the league has done amazing things to protect those guys because of his injury and other injuries. I don't know when the aha moment was, but I definitely think that's a huge part of the story. It's like guys in our position, we don't do enough of talking about things that actually matter. And how do you maintain your confidence? Like, that's a huge thing. Not arrogance, confidence, because sports will make you doubt yourself. Coaches will make you doubt yourself. The media will make you doubt yourself. How do you not doubt yourself? He never lost his confidence. Right? And commitment to conditioning. Right? Teams lose games because they're tired. Players lose games because they're out of shape. There used to be the thought that guys like Brady Quinn, too muscle bound, can't throw a football. And I think that's why his body was so kind of mush when he came out of Michigan. But he continued to kind of grow and evolve as a person and realize that taking care of your body, your personal condition, let's just call it personal conditioning, is as important as anything you do physically. It allows you to stay on a football field, allows you to play longer, allows you to pay more attention in meetings. I think that's a huge part of the story that most people, Double D, don't talk enough about.
Yeah, Doug, it was clear to you when you were in college. It was clear. I mean, you wouldn't have looked the way you did if if it wasn't. The reason I asked the question, one of the reasons I asked, is because I heard some reporters talking about, well, he's always been into fitness. He's always been into, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a second here. Now, hold on. Because he's younger than me, you're younger than me, but even, if you were clearly into fitness, you'd look like you in college, not what Tom Brady looked like. Let me go the other route with you. Was Belichick ultimately right here? He gets rid of guys 1 year ahead of time. Okay, yes. Brady goes, has 2 good years. Was Belichick right?
Yes. Yes. I mean, most Belichick guys last a year, and then they fall off. He was 2. He didn't fall off. I just think, look, do I think Belichick wanted him back? Yes. Of course he did. But he also knew they were in cap hell. Brady didn't want to be there. It was just done. It was over. I think it's very reasonable to think that in your 40s, they're going to be major slippage. And the cliff never really came. There were moments in which he looked against the Saints a couple times the previous year. There was times in which he looked 44. I don't know if Belichick was right in terms of performance, but in terms of how long that thing would last and whether or not it was worth it, to move mountains to keep him. I think Belichick was right. I also think that Brady was right, though, as well, because this was more than just winning a Super Bowl. If you think back to 5 years ago when they had Deflategate, Tom Brady was. He wasn't the emperor, but he was Darth Vader. He was just, sorry about the guys in the background doing a little work, but he was hated. And now Tom Brady is beloved simply because he left New England and won. And it's kind of seen as sticking it to the man a little bit. But if Brady would have retired a Patriot, I think there would have been a lot more negativity. He's kind of turned that completely around. He has his Facebook show. He's got some of these other little clips. He's controlled social media. The whole thing's been brilliant, and it's been a massive PR scheme, and it's worked. Where now it's not just he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's a beloved figure, and this is the guy that was part of Spygate, part of Deflategate, part of the evil empire of the Patriots. And because he got away and had success and had a smile and showed us he's a good guy, all that stuff is very much in the past.
He's the one guy in the modern era of cancel culture, we're mad at everything, we're going to pile on, that had a drunken escapade and came out of it the hero. You know what I mean? Like that thing on the boat.
He was definitely white boy wasted. But part of that, again, is the image that he's created. This Tom is good in 2 shoes, right? Like Baker Mayfield comes out after a playoff game and they have a party and he's slobbering junk and Baker Mayfield's an idiot. Tom Brady gets hammered on a boat. Now, remember, you win a Super Bowl, we give you a little bit of a pass different. And we laugh at all your jokes. That's the other part to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. All right, let me go this route. Go back to Belichick for a second. Is it just utter nonsense to question how great, good, whatever you want to say, Belichick is? Is it utter nonsense to compare him without Brady?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look, all these Patriot guys keep getting jobs, even though all the previous ones have failed. You know why? because everybody wants a little bit about what Bill's got. They just do. You know, Josh McDaniels was a disaster last time around. He just got the Raiders job. And the Raiders job means he hired his own GM. He just got a huge job. How did he get it? Because of Belichick. Talk to football people, as I know you do, like real football, and don't have a microphone in front of them and say, Patriots, what do you think? You're like, man, unbelievable football guys. Best ever off the waiver wire. They know how to build it. They understand the idea of a culture. You know, he's much better with players than the perception is in terms of his relationships with guys. They respect him. They like him. They like playing for him. You know, I mean, look, I remember, I think it was Lane Johnson. Who, after they beat the Patriots, it might have been Kelsey, but I think it was Lane Johnson. After they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, he was like, we have fun over here. They don't have fun over there. Winning, you know, it's fun. And what happened the next year? Patriots won the Super Bowl. You know what's really fun is to win every year, kick people's ass every year. And, you know, they're rebuilding the thing, and they try to do it through free agency, and it worked for a little bit, and we'll see what kind of wave 2 is. But again, winning is not an accident. You don't win for 20 consecutive years in a league that's designed for parity. They skew the schedule against you so that the better teams play a harder schedule, and yet there's no strength of schedule in who gets in the playoffs. And, you know, every year except for 3 in the last, 22 years, they've made the playoffs, which is the goal of any NFL team. So anybody who has this blasphemous for Bill Belichick and what he's doing and how he's doing, you've just put a sign to all the rest of us that says, I don't really know anything about sports. I just want to have a take that makes me somewhat popular.
This is why I love talking to Doug Gottlieb, because I have a friend. He's a starting lineman with the Patriots, Teddy Karras. His dad's a friend of mine. Well, we went to high school. He's a little bit behind me, but we went to high school. I've known the Karras family forever. And he said exactly what you're saying. And Teddy, the dad, coached the national championship NAIA football team and was a great player and played in the NFL. And he's like, Dan, what you just said right there, Doug, is exactly what Ted Karras Jr. says about his son's experience. We call him Junior. Ted Karras Jr.
Oh, yeah,
is having.
I love that little money talks. No, it's just interesting. It's fascinating kind of where our culture goes. And my philosophy is, or maybe my hypothesis is, we have uncoachable people. We're raising an uncoachable generation where having a coach who's in charge. I mean, like, look, part of the Brady story is he made over $300 million in his career. He took less for the betterment of his team to be surrounded by. You know, they parted ways with guys who were in the last year of they had 1 or 2 years left. You know, they bit the bullet, and they made decisions based upon what was best for the team, what was best in a football field, and what was best for their culture. Guys that fit in, because not everybody fit in there. You know, Chad Ochocinco, great player, couldn't play there because that's not a freelance program. Can't run with Brady. He doesn't like freelancers. You need to be where you're supposed to be, and he'll get you the football. But the idea, what they've been able to do and create there. I mean, look, 2 years ago, they won 7 games with Cam Newton. I don't know if anybody's paid attention, because on Twitter, they were like, sign Cam Newton. Cam Newton can't throw a football anymore. Can't throw it. His shoulder is shot. He never had good fundamentals. Okay. His body's beaten up because of how much he run the football. But forget about all that. Can't throw a football. So to have a quarterback, okay, in a division where you had 2 double-digit win teams, that's 2 years ago. Remember, they had the Dolphins and Dolphins and the Bills, and to still win 7 games, and they were on a first-place schedule, okay, in their division. It's nothing short of remarkable. So the guy can flat-out coach, and they're going to have to figure out, all right, how do we surround Mac Jones with a better cast? What's his ceiling? And you know, but people want to do Brady or Belichick. It's both. Jordan was amazing. Okay. It didn't happen until he had Phil Jackson. Kobe, and I was never a Kobe dude. Never. I became a friend of Kobe's late in his life, but not a Kobe dude. But you know what? He didn't win anything until Phil was there. Phil leaves. Guess what the Lakers don't do? Win. You know why? Because coaching actually matters. Okay. And it's not necessarily the same as your old high school coach or a college coach, it's not always about what they put on a whiteboard. Okay. It's about understanding how to assign roles, how to get guys to accept roles, how to motivate people, how to coach each individual differently. Okay. And coaching professionals is really hard because those guys' egos are out of control and they don't actually need to win games to make money. Right. It's all for pride. But there's a reason we started with this. There's a reason Brady has won for 22 years. There's a reason that Bill Belichick has won the same amount of time. It matters. And winning is no accident.
I had a guy tell me, do you think that going to Tampa was necessary for Brady even a little bit? Do you think going to Denver was necessary and it helped them both? Don't get me wrong. But was it necessary for either Peyton Manning to go to Denver or Brady to go to Tampa for their legacies?
I don't know. It's a good question. Peyton had just worked out, right? Where they had the next guy and he had the bad year. I think that Peyton.
Yeah, we ended up getting Andrew Luck came in and Jimmy Irsay cut Peyton, and he wasn't going to play. They didn't think, and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
he could have quit.
I don't know if it was. Most of these guys. It's really interesting if you study it, right? Most of these guys end up their last couple years somewhere else, and they have some sort of success.
No doubt.
They have some sort of success, right? Favre, the Jets first, then Minnesota. They got to the NFC Championship game, and then the last year it fell apart. Montana goes to Kansas City. Aikman didn't, but Aikman got hurt. Steve Young had been kind of all over, and then Steve Young got hurt, but he played forever. But most of the rest of the guys, Phillip Rivers, John Elway obviously did not. But, it's like I do think it adds to the legacy. I think they also have to choose wisely, right? Like when you're in your 40s, you want to play somewhere warm weather, altitude, or in a dome, right? You don't want to go play in Green Bay or in Buffalo where your ball dies, or in Cleveland or something like that. But think about it. Think about what that guy did. The Bucs had talent. They had a quarterback throw for 5,000 yards the year before he got there, but they couldn't win games because the guy couldn't stop turning the football over. And the NFC Championship game is the perfect example of where even your skill doesn't matter as much as others' belief in you, because they got the ball, if you remember, and marched down the field and put the Packers down 7-0, and they dominated the first half. And he made an unbelievable throw before the end of the first half, resulting in a touchdown. And so the Packers were swimming upstream the entire second half. He was terrible in the second half. 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions. But when you see Tom Brady marching your team down the field like, I got this, fellas. This is how we do it. Getting the lead, it gives everybody in the sideline, all 53, a ton of energy and a ton of belief. Sports is just as much about belief as it is about how good you are. And when you believe in that dude who's taking the snaps every time, you got a much better shot. And people believe he's not a snake oil salesman. It's the real deal. Follow me to freedom, boys. And I think what he did in Tampa, a franchise that hadn't won in 20 years, 2 double-digit win seasons since they went to the 2 playoff appearances since they went to the Super Bowl, no playoff wins. And to walk in day one and they figure it out by the end of the year and win football games and win the Super Bowl, and the way in which they did it, come on, man. That's the stuff of legend.
Is it reasonable? Is it doable that Aaron Rodgers ends up there? Is it reasonable?
Tampa?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I feel like Tampa's a bit of they kind of went all in on the Brady thing, and I could be wrong. He hasn't had a tight end in forever, maybe ever, like Gronk. But I don't know if Gronk really wants to do it. They got to figure out the running back situation. Your best wide receivers coming off an ACL. I feel like Tampa. I feel like that's in need of a refresh. It's reasonable to think he'd go to Denver. The one issue with Denver is, man, that division is insane, like crazy. Not that should ever keep you away, but those are 6 incredible football games. And I do think he can kind of remake the Packers to his liking. And I think, I've read that's what right now they're trying to convince him of. It's like, hey, they just promoted an offensive coordinator from within. I'm guessing they ran that by Aaron. What they do with Devontae Adams, who else they add. So, I mean, if I'm Aaron, I don't think I leave because I'm really close if I can get him to add a couple pieces on offense. They do need some more help. But look, we all have that. What would it be like to be somewhere else? And the grass isn't always greener, but it does teach you a lot about who you are and what you're about. I've left 2 of the big companies, and now I'm with the third. And, now look, you've left and you're on your own. There's good, there's bad, but there's learning every day. And you do feel maybe a little bit more alive than just kind of going and checking in every day and not being part of the machine, right? Like building your own thing,
Yeah.
Double D on Outkick it's a brave new world. And there is something about it. So I don't know I do think Aaron clearly has he's searching for something in life, which means he's probably searching for something in football as well. So that has always led me to believe that he'll leave and try something else. I don't know if that makes it the smartest decision, but that may be the decision that he wants to make because he wants to try something new.
I was planning on talking college hoops because you're the smartest guy that I talk to on college hoops.
I'm at
Texas
Tech tonight. Texas Tech tonight.
Hey, that's going to be a hell of a game, right?
Oh, I mean, the atmosphere. First of all,
yeah.
Look, I dig Lubbock, okay, but their fans, ask anybody who played, coached, been in the Big 12, without any question, the nastiest group of people that I've ever been around. Coach Sutton would only not take Patsy's late white Patsy on the road to one place. It was Lubbock. And it's not everybody, but there's just a higher douchebag percentage of people. They just say things like, man, mechanics are dropping their wrenches right now at that line, one of those jobs. Yeah. So you add that to the Chris Beard left and went to his alma mater, went to Texas. They already have that Texas envy anyway, and Texas is leaving for the SEC. Oh man, it's going to be it's going to be interesting. And his team isn't very good either. His team's okay. They're just a hodgepodge of thrown together. They introduce themselves to each other and before the game, like, oh, hey, good to meet you, right? That's kind of his team this year. This will be. I've been very lucky. I got to call for Westwood won the Kentucky A&M game, Kentucky, Kansas, and now this one, Auburn, Alabama. So I've seen some big games, and this one, great atmosphere. Just like more of a vicious atmosphere than Saturday night in Lawrence was like a celebration of 2 great programs before Kansas got their asses kicked. This one's going to be just a lot of venom in the air, a lot of venom.
Will, last thing before I let you go, the Beard thing is hate with Texas Tech, or is it reverence and respect for taking them to the Final Four championship game?
Hate. I haven't. I touched down, but I think it's hate. I think it's. Yeah. They gave him more money than they could ever plan on giving. They built him a brand new practice, so we did everything we could to keep you. And I honestly think Chris wouldn't have left, except for Texas. That's where he went, and Texas is different. And, Texas has been a sleeping giant for a long time because of facilities a little bit, but not having the right guy. I think Chris is the right guy, but I think it's because he left, because it's Texas, and because Texas is leaving for the SEC, like all of those things. And by the way,
it's a lot. Yeah.
I think the SEC is the best league. I thought.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, the Big 12 is tough, top to bottom. But let's just be honest. West Virginia, not any good. Kansas State, not any good. Oklahoma State, super athletic, and when they make some shots, capable of beating you. But so as much as I would point out that Georgia and Missouri and Vanderbilt stink, and they do, and the bottom of the SEC isn't great, Auburn's real. That kid, Jabari Smith's going to be the number 1 pick. He's magnificent. But the rest of the team is really good. Walker Kessler defends the rim. Those little guards are just junkyard dogs. Kentucky is the real deal. I love the way he's playing with this team. Wheeler stirs that drink by pushing the basketball. They guard. Oscar Shibwe is just a man among boys inside. They play within their roles. Like, Kentucky's real. And And then you sprinkle in some of these other Alabamas who's capable of losing to anybody but beating anybody. They smacked Baylor the other day. They beaten Gonzaga. Then you have some other secondary programs that aren't as good, but there's a good list of them. I think the top of the SEC is so good that it makes it the best league. I really do.
I got to have you back because I got to get into the Big Ten. I got to get into the ACC. No pro. I mean, I got to get into more with you. I know you got a game and we got to run, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you stopping in a freaking middle of an airport and taking this. Thanks, my friend.
Anytime, brother.
You're the best. That's the best. That's the guy. I love talking to people that actually know and have opinion. That's my friend Doug Gottlieb. Outkick, wonderful show today. A lot going on. Don't be afraid if you watch. Don't be on Twitter. Don't be afraid to retweet it. We got to build these numbers up so we become the greatest show in the history of the world. Thanks to everybody. I think we're like 30 seconds out. Lauren, I'll wait for the homework tonight. Have a fantastic, fantastic afternoon. You can catch this act, me, 12 to 3 at 1075thefan.com, or you can see me on YouTube. We do a YouTube at 1075thefan.com on YouTube. Have a great afternoon, everybody.